every once in a while, I'll run into somebody will text me. I'm at the game, and I'll throw them up on the jumbotron. And it's when I see people, I see people. Who's that? Yeah, John and Gary at the game. They went to the game a lot. They were at a lot of play. I think they were at almost every playoff game. So, it was funny. So Gary's texted me and he's like, "Oh, can you put me up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll put you up." So right as I go to put him up, they don't know when they're going up. He walks away. So they're ready to take the camera shot, and they're like, "Oh shit, he walked away." I'm like, "Quick, get the guy with the hat." And they get the guy with the hat, and it's John Hein. So it was like, I got him up, which he was happy about. So then, like an inning later, Gary texts me. I'm like, all right, I'm back in my seat. I'm like, all right, we'll put you up now. And what happens? We put him up, and like a convoy of girls just like walk in front of him and block him from every shot. Fucking John Hein was just laughing his ass off. He's like, first, he's not there, and then he just gets blocked by all these women. But yeah, it was. You know what I like to do? I like to shoot people and put them up when they're eating because they get the reaction like, it's classic. I do that all the time.
Me and my wife, I'll ask the guy. I know the guys here too. And I'm like, hey, get us on Kiss Cam, or we'll have people that come with us, and we want them to be up. But yeah, it's every time we have a plate of nachos. It's always when we're just chowing and just get
bad. It's the best. It's so funny to watch reactions of people eating. It's classic.
So I said, you did say you don't talk a lot of shop with these guys, but I am curious. Like, we're almost a year away from this contract ending. Like, what would Baba Booey doesn't have to work, but what would he do? Like, and John Hein, I guess, would work at Sirius, but like Baba Booey, like, I'm just curious. Like, he's the most charmed life person I think I can think.
Listen,
is there anyone that has more of a? I know he gets shit on, but makes a lot of money and has kind of stuck it through and kind of made it through, seemingly in a good space.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he can produce. He can produce any other show, and with his resume, somebody would snap him up in a second to produce somewhere else and probably pay him even more money. Who knows? Hein, he's got he producing talent, and he also has on-air talent, so he could host a show. He did John Hein did the show on SNY for a while, and then he also did. I love this show because I'm not really a big sports fan, so I don't really care about that. But he did Fast Food Nation, which I thought was a great show. You learned a lot about all these companies that have these fast food establishments. So I like that show, but that's gone. Yeah, listen, I don't see anybody having a problem making it after this. I mean, you have to. What are you going to do? Fucking just die? End up not fucking doing anything. You got to work. You got to do something. So you'll pick up something here or there. Actually, I made more money since I left there than I did when I was working there. I was so underpaid there. Not as underpaid as the radio guys, but I was doing the job of like four or five guys. First off, I was doing 7 cameras. But on top of it, I was also the lighting guy. I was the set guy. I was the audio guy. I was doing a bunch of stuff. So, yeah, I was totally underpaid, but I was, took it as a learning experience. And, listen, I'm working on the greatest fucking radio show ever. Am I going to give it up for, I'll suck it up and do what I got to do. I always hustled. I always freelanced. That was another thing. They used to make fun of me for working at other places. And then I ended up getting work like the next day after we got laid off, and everybody else was like scrambling for fucking jobs. And I'm like, well, there you go. So laugh all you want, but I got a paycheck coming in. So
this is a lesson from Brian and Brad. Don't be comfortable.
Always. Listen, I've been in this business since 1990. So do the math. I can't right now. I've always one position. I started out as a camera guy. Right. Exactly. I did a camera guy. I was an audio guy. I was a video guy. I was a TD. I was a tape guy. The more you know, the better off you'll get more jobs. Like I say, I'm at the Yankees and I'm the technical director. Everything you see on the Jumbotron, I'm punching that up and I'm putting it up there. At the Mets, I do what's called video. I have 9 cameras. I got to make sure they all look the same. They all match the colors, the iris, all of that. At the Coliseum, I'm a camera guy and I'm an engineer. I walk around and I know I've been at the Coliseum for years, so I know where everything is. So, like Trump was there a couple months ago, like a month ago, Trump was there, and they brought their own crew in to do video and audio. So I had to plug them into the house. So they got the PA sound and they got up on the Jumbotron. That's my boy, Trump. There he is. Yeah, dude. So I got a great story about this. This was right after the second assassination attempt.
Oh,
So,
not the first one, the second one.
no,
Okay,
the
good.
second one.
Good to
So,
delineate. Make sure.
right, exactly. So I'm up in the control room, and there's all like the control room at Nassau is all the way up on the top by the ceiling. And there's really nobody up there except me and like a couple other guys, and that's where the press room is. But there was no press or anything up there. They had a press on the floor. So Secret Service comes up, and I'm walking them around, and I'm showing them all the entrance points, and to get into where we are. And there's a catwalk that goes over the whole floor of the Coliseum. So they go, okay, listen, how many people are going to be in this room? And I go, like 3, maybe 4. And he goes, okay. He goes, is there any reason why you need to be on the catwalk? And I'm like, nope. And he goes, good, because we were told shoot to kill. And we were just like, we looked at each other like, all right, we're not going out on the catwalk. So
Hey,
that's that.
good news is it seems like they have bad aim.
Yeah.
Or...
No, they took the sniper out. So they got
oh,
the
that's
good.
right.
Right. They got the right guy. They got the aim. It's the guys that was shooting that didn't have the good aim. But yeah, I mean, it was, and that's another thing. So, you don't know who to believe here and there. So you see reports, there's nobody they're showing like, the Coliseum half full. They're like, there's nobody here. I'm like, dude, they were putting people in section by section. All right. It was for free. So you just showed up, and if they let you in, they told you where to sit, and they filled up the whole Coliseum all the way around. I'm like, there's 20,000 people inside. There was 20,000 people outside. So I'm sitting here like, well, that's bullshit. Now I know they're full of shit right now, because there's 40,000 fucking people here, and they're telling me this is half full, and it wasn't. And we had monitors set up outside, and it was an event, man. Actually, it's funny. I come to realize all these fucking rallies, they're just like rock concerts, except they're political. They do the same thing at every event, just like a rock show or a comedian would do. It's the same thing every time. It's just at a new city. And I'm like, wow, I always thought that was like so much more to it, being that it's politics. But no, same shit. And that's what they do. They put on a show. They get the fucking people fucking into frenzy, and then they fucking let them go. Hey, and people, that's their high. The politics, that's not my high. You know my high, man. I like the fucking music. Live music is the shit. All this other stuff I could care less about. That's the only thing I go out for now. I'm actually going out tonight to see a comedian at the Paramount in Huntington. So.
What are you seeing?
You know what? I don't even know. A friend of mine got these tickets to this comedian, said, you want to go? I said, sure, why not? I'll go. I got off. I don't even know who we're seeing, but I'm sure it'll be good. They're playing the Paramount. They got to fill seats, so I'm sure it'll be good.
We love Curb here in our house, Larry David, and he's doing like a little mini tour of like 6-7 cities. And, it's like, man, do I want to see Larry David on stage? Like, what? I mean, he's funny and everything. My wife's like, we're going. So we're going to see Larry David this weekend.
Oh, good. I would definitely see him. Why not, man? That's got to be like, it's got to be good. Like, it's Larry David, he'll probably fight with you if you want.
Well, that's what I read is like, so at the end, it's like just him and his executive producer, Curb, and they just sort of just kind of free form. And then he does take questions from the audience. And I saw one of the shows, one of the people in the audience goes, Larry, I know you're a big Jets fan. Is there any way you can tell us, what the Jets need to do to fix what they're, he's like, oh, geez, the Jets, why'd you bring that up? I was having a good time. That's it. I'm leaving. And he just walked off stage. That was the last thing he did. I think that's perfect Larry David.
Right. I got a question for you.
Yep.
This guy wrote, Brian is the Caesar Sidonia of Howard TV. What is that good or bad? Is that good or bad?
That's a great thing.
That's a great thing. All right, cool.
Yeah, no, a lot of these people are very they're here a lot. I don't see that comment. So, but Cesar Cedeno, for those who don't know, was a Cardinal in 1985. Came over from the Reds at the end of August, and hit 18 home runs in September. Led the Cardinals to the playoffs. As a kid, how old was I? 10, 9. It felt like Cesar Cedeno hit a home run every night. That's what I remember.
All right.
Yeah. No, I always do a little show and tell. I have this always on file ready to go. That play in 1985 that Dinkinger called him out or called him safe. And I got that.
Right.
I wanted to mention, what else did I want to mention? We were talking music. So I do also do a little on this date, and I don't know how you feel about this one though. But on this date, I don't know what year that is. I guess 66.
That's when they met?
That's when they met. So I guess they
Wow.
broke up after this. So they broke
Do you
up
know
a
how
few
they
years.
met?
Paul, right?
Yes, Paul actually said this on the show. She went to see him, Paul, and he thought she was crazy. So as a joke, he said to John, they fucking ended up hitting it off.
That is my favorite interview of all time that Howard
Yeah.
did. I was in kind of the prime of Howard doing really good interviews. Like the Kamala thing is kind of the softball thing, and the Bruce stuff. But
Right.
like that Paul McCartney first interview, like it literally was like, man, if he could go 2 more hours, he's gonna get more out of him. So did you? I
Oh
guess
my
you met him.
God.
Tell me about that day.
Yeah, so dude, I was blown away. I was like, fucking Paul's coming in. I mean, I was a Beatle fan forever. In fact, in 1994, he inducted John Lennon into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I happened to be at that show. I was working the press room that night, and I went to the bathroom, and I'm literally taking a piss next to the Edge and Eric Clapton, and I'm like, this is fucking surreal. So I walked out, and who's walking in? Fuck, Paul McCartney. So I'm like, holy shit. So I waited for him, and he came out. I'm like, hey, can I get an autograph? And he's like, yeah. And he signed an autograph for me.
Did he wash his hands?
I wasn't inside. I don't know. I waited for him outside. But I was like, wow, fucking, that was Paul. I mean, my hero. That's great. So then he comes on the show. And the first time he came on the show, it was they booked Ozzy as well. And it was the first time Ozzy ever met Paul. And that was kind of cool too, to see Ozzy Osbourne meet Paul McCartney. That was fucking surreal too. But yeah, he came on the show, and it was fucking an awesome too. And then I don't really remember much that he said about that. I do remember like the one that he did on Sirius, because I guess maybe a lot of my shit just blends together, because there's so much of it. So he might have said something one time, but it was probably another time. So I'm not, but it was great. I mean, I was tough, entertained beyond belief. Howard is the best interviewer out there. He's the greatest. Howard, you can't deny that. You're not going to, any show you put a person on, they're going to do a 4-minute segment, and they're going to plug their plug-in. You get nothing out of it other than, you get real in-depth interviews with Howard, and they're great. I mean, he had what's her name on for like 3 hours that time. Hillary Clinton was like a 3-hour interview. When do you ever see a 3-hour fucking interview? It was. But yeah, every time he had somebody on, he'd go at least an hour, and it was great. It was always great. Loved it. You can't deny it.
Yep. Take advantage here. We're live with Brian Phelan. We have some time, right, Brian? We have a little time here.
Yeah, I got some time. What time is it? We were 36. Yeah, I got another half an hour at least.
Here. But we're live. We did this the first time. Yeah, he's sweaty.
It's dark now. It's fucking 4:30, and the sun's already going down. I can see my shot getting dark. I got to turn my light on in a minute.
I was thinking of that bathroom story. I have one that makes me laugh all the time. It was way back in the day when Carrey was coming through here as a Cub announcer, and so I'm taking a piss. Every story's great if it happens in the piss.
Yeah, right.
And so I'm taking a piss, and here comes Carrey, and he walks up to this like third stall down and puts his hand up against the wall and just goes, "How? What a ball game, huh?" He wasn't really talking to me or anybody, and then just walked out. I'm like,
talking to the wall.
What a ball game! I get to do my Carrey impression too. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I
have a question here.
In the bathroom.
Does Brian know why the Cardinals traded away Brian Harper? Of course, Brian Harper played for those 1980. This is what Ross does. It's fine. He's a super fan.
I have no idea about sports. I mean, I know sports names and shit like that. Anybody new, I have no idea who they are, unless they're a New York guy, and if they played us, and whatever. But I don't fucking. I go there to work. I don't really care. Did I like Ralph? I did like Ralph. Ralph was a good guy, man. Ralph was Ralph. You couldn't deny him. He said what he wanted to say. He was good. He was great on the air. Good guy. We've hung out a few times. I think one of the first times I met him, we were doing something in the studio, setting up a show, and he left his wallet. And it was at the time Howard lived on Long Island. I lived a couple towns away. So I found his wallet and I called him up. I'm like, hey, Ralph, I got your wallet. And he's like, oh, shit. All right. Can you bring it to me? You know? And I was like, he's like, I'm out at Howard's house. So I'm like, all right. So I'm like all excited. Hey, I'm going to get to Howard's house. He met me like at a gas station, like fucking a mile away. So, and there you go, Ralph. I gave him his wallet. I drove home. But yeah, Ralph was a good guy, man. I liked him. It's sad that he died. The last time I saw him was at, when did I see him last? At Ronnie had a block party, and I had just left a Yankee game. I was driving home, and I went to Ronnie's house. He lived right by the bridge, and I went to the house, and they were all there. You know, a lot of the new guys who I met. I don't really know too many of the new guys. Like I know, I just said hello to him or whatever. Nowicki's a good guy, but I saw Ralph there, and at the end of the night, everybody's doing karaoke, and they put up Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang, which is like, that's my era, you know? But nobody could sing it. And they're looking at the words and they couldn't read it. So I just grabbed the mic. I didn't even look at the words. And I just rapped the whole fucking Rapper's Delight. And everybody thought that was so weird that it was coming from me, a rap song coming from me, since I was like the rock and roll guy. They were all like, wow, man, that was really good of you to fucking sing that song. And I'm like, thanks, man. I
do
like
the beginning, yeah. Hip hop.
Yeah, don't stop, rock to the bang bang, do you jump to boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to be.
What you hear might be a thing. I can't remember that. Look at us. Look at us. We look like brothers.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of folks again in the chat talking about the Dabbleverse. We've already covered that, so check that out when we put this thing back out live. I'm curious too. One question I thought about. I don't even know if this is a fun question. Did the news team disrupt the office a lot? Did people were like once that kind of happened, were people like, oh, God, get out of here?
We like the news team. We like the news team. They were great. They were awesome. A few hiccups with the news team was like, we used to get great gifts, you know, from the staff every year. And the first year we were at Sirius, Lisa G didn't get a gift, and she was all pissed and went on the air and fucked it up for everybody. And then we ended up getting like the Yankee fucking swap or whatever. So that was kind of sucked. But everybody was great. Langford was awesome. The only guy that was really like, he was so straight laced. He was in the beginning. I don't know if you remember this guy, George Flowers.
Mm-hmm.
He started. It was him and Ralph Howard.
Yeah.
Were
one of those two I talked to, and I almost had him coming on this program, and then they ghosted.
Yeah, Ralph Howard passed away a couple years ago. Which was bad.
Ralph. Maybe it was Ralph. Maybe I didn't realize he died.
Ralph was a great guy. I loved Ralph. He was a legendary 1010 Wins guys, which was an all news radio station here in New York. Great man. He got it. You know, George Flowers didn't get it. You know, he was so straight laced, and he's like, he was like in the movie, the fucking guy that replaced Robin when Robin got fired from NBC. That was George Flowers. He was just like that guy. He was like, oh, you know, all fucking offended at everything. Ralph Howard got it. He was a great guy. Then Langford came in. Langford is a fucking lunatic. He loves shit stories. I did a whole segment with him about shitting on the lawn, and then shitting in the parking lot and at the train station. It was a great story. Then fucking what's his name came? John Lieberman. Lieberman. He came, and he's one of these detective reporters. He's like, gets right in, man, you know? And he wanted to stir up shit with me and DePace. And he did. He stirred up shit with me and DePace. And I called him out on it, but I loved John. John's a good guy. But what turned out to be is DePace always thought I hated him. And I kind of did. He was kind of dicky. But he was my boss, and he was good at his job, but he had no people skills. He treated everybody like a fucking piece of shit, and he was like on top of the world. And unless you were above him, that's when he treated somebody with respect. But he didn't treat with not much respect at all. He always talked down to him. Anyway, when all this shit went down, we found out a lot of people didn't like DePace, and I almost got fired over it. Like, one of the guys on the show actually sent DePace elephant shit, and he didn't even get the reference, because the elephant is the fucking sign of is the mascot for the Republican Party. So he's like, why would somebody send me elephant shit? You know, because you're a fucking diehard Republican, you fucking idiot. Like, no, duh. But anyway, He
Who was it, by the way, if you can answer that?
Who was it? What? Oh, who
Who
was?
sent
Oh,
it?
yeah. It was Sussy, the lighting guy. So what happened was, I found out about it, and I went on the air to talk about it. I'm like, listen, I'm not the only one who hates to pay. Some guy sent one of his employees sent them shit. So then Doug came in. It's like, dude, you're gonna get fired. I'm like, what? What the fuck did I do? I didn't send them this shit. He goes, yeah, but you knew about it. I'm like, yeah, but the guy don't even work here anymore. He had quit. That's what he told me. He quit, and then he told me about it. And I'm like, holy shit, what a great. That's a funny fucking story, And I held on to it. But I almost bit me in the ass that I knew about it, because I was like, well, why don't I didn't fucking send it to him, and and it shows you more than fucking. I'm not the only one that can't stand this fucking guy. He makes everybody fucking crazy. And found out like 5 or 6 people on the Howard TV side couldn't fucking stand him. So, but yeah, Lieberman brought that out. But yeah, the news team was great. They were all right. High pitched Mike, he's a fucking blast. Shuli, of course. Lisa G. Penny Crone was a great woman. She was fucking. Anytime you just bust her balls all day, and she was just into it. She was all about it. It was funny, man. They were a good crew. I liked them. That was fun.
We're winding down, but we're still on this topic. Tell me about Shitgate. How was that around
Shitgate with what's his name?
Tim Sabian didn't
Oh,
do it, right?
Shitgate. That's Shitgate. Yeah, no, there was so many Shitgates. Listen, I understand. It happens. You fucking bend over to fucking pull your pants down and shit shoots out. And that's what happened, man. He tried to clean it up the best he can, and he didn't. And the room was next to us, and they had a card key, and it tells you who went in at what time. So he got busted. It was everybody thought it was me. I'm like, I don't even use that bathroom. They were like, wow, really? I'm like, yeah, what the fuck would I use that bathroom for? Fuck it, I'll go down the hall. But yeah, what happened? You go out drinking one night, you don't feel right the next day, you're gonna make
it. You just can't deny it. You gotta just own it and just
you gotta own it. So